these troubles, baby, I'm on and on. Let these troubles, baby, I'm keeping on and on and on. Let these troubles,
Wally, good morning.
living a life was empty. Singing a song to sing.
Good morning, my friend. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Finished up my coffee a little bit.
So many sad faces, gazing into space.
Thanks for joining us.
Somebody else to make the world a better place. Leave it up to the other man or to
All right. While we're waiting for people to join us, I'm going to read a little bit from our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And, today we're going to talk about money. And let me read from page 147 of the 12 Universal Laws of Success. And it says, the 8th law of success is the universal law of value and mutual exchange. The scriptures, Matthew 7th chapter, 6th verse, and it says, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn again and attack you. Good morning, Joy Allen. Thanks for joining us. So this idea of the law of money, the value of money, the universal law of value and mutual exchange covers the interactions that take place between the different levels of consciousness. When you, on one level of consciousness, interact with another person, that person should be on a level of consciousness commensurate with your own. And all things have a level of consciousness. Let me go on. The universal law of value directs you not to waste your treasures, the things that are important to you, on people, places, or things that are beneath your level of consciousness. So let's look at that for a minute. When you look at money, example, an inheritance, $50,000 inheritance. Now, how people look at that depends on their level of consciousness. Many families decide that they want to pass on whatever the assets and wealth that they have accumulated to the next generation. One mindset, when they get that inheritance, they go out and spend it. They go buy a car. They go buy a Rolex watch. They go on a trip. They buy shiny stuff. And sooner or later, the $50,000 is gone. Another mindset looks at the $50,000 as the seed corn. That this $50,000 was generated by my mother, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, by my family. And maybe it's an insurance premium. At least they had the good sense to say, I would like to leave you something and let me pay on it. I may not have $50,000 to leave you that I have in my hands, but if I get an insurance policy and I pay on it for 20 years, you're going to have $50,000. And so now, with that second level of consciousness, when that $50,000 comes to you, you look at it as seed corn for future generations. So you have kids, you have family. And so your job now is to protect that $50,000 and make it grow and then to pass it on. And you see, that's the difference between people who understand money as a seed and as a tool, as opposed to understanding money as a means for consumption, as a way to buy shiny stuff. So today let's talk a little bit about the power of money from chapter 8. When we look at money, it's not just money. Whatever is valuable to you. You know what's something that's more valuable to you than the money? Is your time. And so if you look at your assets, the 8th law of success, the law of value, if you look at your assets, the things that are important to you, that are worth more, time is your number one asset. Because time is an asset that is not repeatable or replaceable. And so the hours you spend, reading from page 149, the hours you spend on this earth is your most valuable asset. It is unrepeatable and irreplaceable. How you spend the hours you have been allotted in your life will determine the level of success you experience. You waste time when you spend it on unproductive endeavors with unproductive people. The results of wasting time quickly manifest in your life experience. Wow. So your most valuable currency is the time. Good morning, Corey. Black Men Sundays. Thanks for joining us. So your time is your number one asset. How you allocate and use your time determines the life you experience. Another of your assets is your thoughts. You know, when they say people are chilling, what does that mean? That means you're not thinking about anything, you're just being. Well, your thoughts are the blueprints for your future. From page 150, your thoughts are the blueprints for your future. If you entertain thoughts that are beneath your level of consciousness, then you are wasting your incredible thought capacity on unworthy exercises. Good morning, Dr. 𝐂𝐎 Faye. Thanks for joining us today. Good morning, Paris. Welcome aboard. Got to find out about your trip. We'll talk today. So this idea of your thoughts, we're talking about money. Money is really anything of value. So your time is your most valuable asset. Your thoughts. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss places and things. Small minds discuss other people. And so when we talk about money, your thought capacity is your currency. If you use your thoughts in positive, creative endeavors, then you get positive, productive results. Paris Williams is on, and she's an entrepreneur. And I love what she's done. She has her soap business. She does her tarot readings. And so her thoughts are generally focused on how to be better, how to do better, how to have more, how to create the life she desires to live. So what you do with your thoughts, that's currency. Your actions. Actions are currency just like money. You see, actions are the bridges between your thoughts and your reality. I'm going to read that again from page 151. Your actions are the bridges between your thoughts and your reality. Do not spend time on frivolous, unproductive activities. Any activity that is not in furtherance of your goals, vision, and purpose is a frivolous, unproductive one. And so if you want to create wealth, if you want to create success in your life, what you do makes all the difference. You know, you ask yourself the question, what is the most effective thing I can do right now that will lead me to my goals, my vision, and my purpose? And then finally, money. So time, thought, actions, money. Now we often think about money is your only asset, but money is just one of these different assets. But how you handle your money is most trackable because it's currency. It's easy to count up your money. You may not count up the impact of your thoughts as easily, but your money is a simple arithmetic thing. I have $50,000. I have no money. Okay. Whatever that is, that's something that you can feast on. So let's look at money, because money is one of the sources of wealth. Just one, along with time, actions, and your thoughts. So there are 4 principles of wealth building. That's what I want to hit today, because these principles of wealth building will help guide you. First principle is the earning principle. Reading from page 152, all wealth is created in mind. The earning principle covers the exchange of value required to create sufficient income to meet your needs. So when we're talking about money, the earning principle is, what do you exchange your time for? And what do you get back in return for that exchange? So the object of money, when we talk about it in respect to building your life, you want to exchange your time for the maximum amount of money. So you don't want to spend, we're on page 152, Paris. 152, the principles of wealth building. So you don't spend dollar time on penny jobs. You know, many times you think about what to do next in your life. You can think about doing small things, or you can think about doing big things. The earning principle says focus on the big things. That whatever you expend your time for, get the maximum return. So as you go through life, you want to earn as much in return for the time and effort given. The second wealth building principle is the spending principle. And I don't even like the term spending, but we'll go with the spending principle. This covers the manner in which you spend, circulate, or otherwise dispose of your money. So the spending principle now says, how do you dispose of the money that you earn? So maybe you're earning $1,000 a week, okay? Then how are you spending it? See, the spending principle requires you to look at spending as planting. Don't look at it from the spending point of view. Look at it from the investment point of view. So then whatever you do with your money is as an investment. So if you invest in sneakers, sneakers don't generally make you money. But if you invest in something that you can multiply and divide and sell, that will make you money. And so the spending principle says whatever you spend, and let's call it circulate, because it's really about circulating and investing. Whatever you circulate, whatever you invest your money in, should bring you return. Should be worthy of the money you're spending, the money you're circulating, the seeds that you're planting. So the spending principle says, hey, you need a budget. If you don't have a budget, you will never get anywhere in life. If you don't have a budget, if you don't master your money and tell your money what to do for you, then your money will not give you the value that it could if you used it in a conscious manner to develop and create more. Sowing. Yes, let's go, Major. Absolutely. So money can be the spending principle, the circulating principle. The sowing principle says that whatever you put your money in should give you return. Now, it may not be one-on-one, put in 2, get out 3. But whatever it is, it can be a value that comes to you, and it may come over time. You see, many things about life, especially money, is a lot like being a farmer. You know, many years ago, I worked for Time magazine, and when they were setting up People magazine, they allocated enough money to run the magazine for 4 years without making a profit. So in other words, they planted enough seeds to carry that magazine for 4 years. It was turning a profit in about 18 months. So how you spend, how you circulate, how you plant your money is critical. The saving principle. This covers the accumulation of surplus, the difference between your income and expenses. Now, this is key. The savings principle is really related to the next principle, which is the investment principle. So the savings principle says that you must have a budget. You must understand where all the money comes from and where it all goes. Then you must be disciplined enough to use the money in accordance with your budget. I see many people write out a budget plan and then they don't follow their own plan. So when you write out the budget, then you follow the budget. And the savings principle says, pay yourself first. You see, treat savings like it was an expense. I'm in my studio, the lights are on, it's gotten cold again, so the heat is working. All of that stuff costs money. Okay, so the savings principle says, just like you have to pay your heat bill, your electric bill, your mortgage, you should also treat your savings just as important. Because your savings is the buffer that can protect you from the unexpected. They say a major percentage of the American people live one paycheck away from absolute financial ruin. Someone else said that an extra $300 to $500 a month makes the difference between a person living and losing everything. So savings says, let me set aside off the top, let me consider creating this nest egg, this amount of money that will give me flexibility in times of emergencies, that will give me peace of mind when stuff gets funny. Okay? So let me look at this now as a bill, but this is a bill that's paying toward your future. So out of that $1,000 a month, the worst you should do is tied to yourself. You know, we talk about the Bible and the spiritual principle. The worst you should do is set aside at least 10% off the top of whatever comes in. So think about this. Let's just see the value of that. If you're making $1,000 a week and you pay yourself first, so you're setting aside 10%, that's $100. Guess what? At the end of the month, you have $400. And when you set aside that savings, that's not something you tap. So I got to go into my account to cover my immediate expenses. If you're dipping into your savings account to cover your current expenses, you've not done a good job of planning. You need to re-examine your income, your spending principles. So the savings principle, pay yourself first and set aside enough money. So at just $1,000 a week and setting aside 10%, every 10 weeks, you have a week of salary, a week of money in the bank. So 10 weeks, you got $1,000 in the cut. 20 weeks, you got $2,000 in the cut. 30 weeks, you got $3,000 in the cut. By the time you get to the end of the year, you have a $5,000 accumulation. Hey? So now, how do you do that? By diligently paying yourself first. And then finally, the fourth principle is the investing principle. And see, investing is where we really want to be. Where your money, working as money works, takes care of you in the lifestyle that you're accustomed. So the investing principle covers the allocation of surplus to increase your wealth and income. So the idea is you accumulate enough savings to take care of you for at least 6 months, you and your family. Okay? Cover you up. Ideally for a year. Once you got that cushion there, that 6 month to 1 year cushion, your money works. Working as money does. Thanks, Dr. 𝐂𝐒. Morning, Dr. Rogers and Spaz. Thanks for joining us. And so now, this investing principle says, invest your money over your surplus, over your savings, in a systematic fashion with the long-term goal that the money invested generates money income, with the long-term goal that your money invested will eventually take care of you in the lifestyle that you want with no further input from you. When you talk about trust fund babies, people who are able to live off their stock investments, there are people who live that inheritance. But if you don't have an inheritance, create your own. Create your own inheritance, and by investing that money over surplus. So let's recap. We're covering from Chapter 8 of the 12 Universal Laws of Success, the Law of Value. We talked about your most valuable assets are your time. That's the greatest asset that you have, how you invest your time. Your thoughts, because your thoughts are the blueprint for your reality. Your actions, what you actually do, because that's when the rubber hits the road. And your money. So the earning principle says earn as much as you can. When you exchange your time for dollars, get the maximum amount of income. That means you get your education. That means you develop your skill set so that you're able to be rewarded commensurate with what you bring to the occasion. You see, you'll always be paid the balance between what you're worth and what you say you're worth. You know, there's a poem and it says, I bargained with life for a penny. Okay? And that's all I ever got. But to paraphrase, when I get down to the end, I realize that whatever price I set on my services, the world will pay. And so exchange your time for the maximum amount of income, understanding that that depends on your skill level, your commitment, and the actions you take in furtherance of that position. Spend your money in according to a budget. Create the mindset of circulating and investing. So you don't spend it because you circulate it so that you put your money to work to take care of your needs, all of them. And a major portion of your needs is that savings, that investment in yourself to take care of you in the future. So maximize your income, set aside, you operate through a budget, develop a savings to cover at least 6 months of your expenses, and then systematically create surplus to invest and start an investing program. Not a hustle, an investment. That once you do that, then over time you will solve the riddle of survival. And the riddle of survival means that your investments, whether it's your stock, your bonds, your business, your investments will take care of you in the lifestyle that you desire with no further input from yourself. Wow. Once you can do that, then this can give you the type of freedom where you can truly do what you want to do, be what you want to be, and have anything you desire. The moment you look at money as an awesome servant, then you have taken control of your life. If you see money as a terrible master where you are spending on shiny things and wasting it, you will not grow to where you want to go. Thank you, Dr. 𝐂𝐒. Your son has stocks that he purchased on his own. Good morning, Eric. Thank you, all of you. Dr. Rogers, thank you so much. This idea of money is powerful, folks, because you can take yourself from where you are to wherever you want to be once you master time, thoughts, actions, and money. With these 4 things, nothing is impossible. So I ask you, and I thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much. We have enjoyed your presence. This is a message I recommend that you go and you get the 12 Universal Laws of Success. You can go to our website, HerbertHarris.com, www.herbertharris.com. get your copy of the book and work with it. You can also book a success consultation, complimentary. I'd love to talk to you, and perhaps I can help. Maybe in our success consultation, we can talk about tweaking whatever it is you want to be doing, doing those little extra things that can rectify, adjust, modify, but they can help you make that step to the next level, and then to the next, and then to the next. So once again, thanks so much for being with us today. Please share this, all of your thoughts, all the great things that you're sharing today. Write them once we post this, write them and share this with other people. Let them know that they have the power, as they say, to tweak it. Once you master money, then it's just wash and rinse and repeat, because then money serves you as an awesome servant. Be sure to visit our website, herbertharris.com, book a success consultation. And remember this, you can be what you want to be. You can do what you want to do. You can have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Have a great, magnificent day.
I can't speak better now than